Hi everybody, we are going to get started with August Club Q, and I love this bright yellow and black fun summery color. The most difficult part about this one is just getting the pieces cut out, the tags and stuff. We have to fussy cut a little bit, but just so you know, even this piece, I cut it out. It does not have to be exactly on the curve. Mine's a little bit messy. Once it gets onto your page, you're not even gonna know that it's a little bit messy. You can do it exactly perfect if you want to, but I just kind of quickly went around the edges. You can also just make it a perfect circle if you want, instead of making the little scalloped edge. But that scallop doesn't have to be perfect. It's not going to be that noticed in the overall scheme of things. The powder puff inks that we suggest are Summer Days, Sun Bleached, and Midnight Confessions, because there's basically only yellow and black used throughout here, but you can always add a little extra color on your own if you would like, with a different color. There is a little bit of green in here. We used, or you can use like maybe soft sage, or a softer green if you want to. But we just used yellow and black, and we are going to get started with the cutting diagrams. So if you want to pull your trimmer out, get that ready. There's a few pieces that we're going to cut. We will start with the 4.5 by 9.5 black paper. So we have a 4.5 by 9.5. And we need to cut that into it's a 4.25 by 9.25. And we're going to cut it into 1 4.25 by 5.25. So this is already 4.25. We're going to turn it and cut it at 5.5. So we have 4.25 this way, 5.5 this way, and we'll trim that. And then this leaves us with the other piece that we need from that, and that's 4.25 by 3.75. So at any time, if you need to pause and get caught up on some of the cutting, you go right ahead. The next one is a 3.5 by 7. So we have a 3.5 by 7 black piece of paper, and we're going to cut that into 2 3.5 by 3.5. So it's already 3.5 this way, and we just turn it and cut it in half at 3.5 this way. You have 2. The next one is a white 3.25 by 9.75. And we want to cut that one at 3.25 by 3.25 pieces. So we'll just turn it and do 3.25, 3.25, and then the last one is 3.25. So you have 3 of those. So pause if you need to and get caught up there. And then we have the large 12 by 12 yellow diagram, and I'm just going to set this right next to, and we're going to cut 2 4.75 by 6.75. So what I'm going to do is actually just cut straight across there. We'll cut that piece off. 4.75. Oh, I'm sorry. We want to do the long part, so we're doing 6.75. Okay. 6.75, and then we'll turn it and cut it at the 4.75. And again, 4 3/4. And this is just extra, you can get rid of that. And you have 2 of those. And the last cut will be the gingham paper. Oh, actually, this is not the last cut, I'm sorry. But we have the gingham paper that we're going to cut next. And that one is 1.5 inch strips. So we will move this in at 1.5. Cut. 1.5 again. One and a half again. I'm going to actually go from the bottom here so that when I push up, it keeps these in place. It pushes against this and keeps it in place. Okay, so we have 4 11 by 1.5. I'm going to set these to the side. Our other yellow piece, I didn't get this cut, but we just need a 3.5 by 3.5 out of what's left of the yellow. So you have a 3.5. This is left over. You can get rid of it, save it for something if you want. And then we have the last cut, which is this black paper, and we're also going to put those into 1.5 inch strips. Move it down, another 1.5. I'm sorry, my nails do not look nice in this video today. I've been using lots of ink at work, and it's all over my hands. Okay, so we have 3 11 by 1.5 inch strips. And that's all of the cutting from here. If you want to, there is some hand cutting that needs to be done, but some of these bigger pieces and even some of excuse me, even some of these can be cut out on your trimmer and then just the ends trimmed off. So all of these pieces need to cut out. If you need to pause and do some of that, you can. But some of these can be cut out on the trimmer. Okay, so I'm going to get the trimmer out of the way, and we are going to start layering the pages. We are going to work on the backgrounds of both of these. So we have white backgrounds for both. Make sure it's all in the video here. And we're just going to start layering these pieces behind here. To get the V and the end of each of those, I'm going to show you a couple of different ways. You can either take one of these yellow that you already punched out from the die cut. You can layer it on top of the black one or the gingham one, and you can trim like this if you want them all to be the same. Or if you're not worried about them all looking exactly the same, another option you could do is to take the ends, don't crease it all the way, but you put your ends together and then cut back towards you like that. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do mine like that. It feels quicker to me. So you go from the corner back down. And you want to do that to all of the gingham and the black 1.5 inch strips. And you choose the way that you want to do it. There we go. Just a couple more. I'm excited to see some of your guys' finished pages with some summer photos on it. We would love to have you post them on our Facebook page so everybody can see them, but we would love to see what you've done with it once you have your pictures in there. I also love to see how people have changed it up a little bit. So if you don't particularly like the kit exactly how it is, it's all yours. So you can change it up any way you want. Okay, so from here, I just lay my directions next to me so I can kind of go use it as a guideline. I'm going to get things lined up a little bit before I actually glue things down, just so I have the look that I want. But we're going to start about 1 inch in from the left side, and then I just barely cover up the edge of that. You can also go right next to each other if you want to. This is just kind of lined up however you feel comfortable for your page. And then I just overlapped them a bit, and I think the next one I actually put underneath maybe. But again, oh sorry, this is actually a yellow one that goes next. So yellow, gingham, yellow, black, yellow, gingham, and yellow. So once you have it lined up like you want, a lot of times what I will do is instead of gluing the entire thing down, I actually get it where I want it. I lift the ends, put a little adhesive here. I use the Barely Art glue and I just do a little strip of glue. And then I lay it right back down where I want it. The same for the next one. This one will be glued down. I just pick up the end of this, put a little glue underneath, and that keeps it in place. Or you can pick up each one, put glue on it, and lay it back down how you want it. Totally up to you. On the next page, I started with black, yellow, and I kind of put these up and down just a little bit. You can put them all even or mix it up a little bit, up and down. Gingham, and yellow. And then black. And then yellow and black. So they fit on there if you do some of them where they're not overlapping. It's just kind of the look that you want. Okay? And then from there, we are just going to layer all the things that you cut out of your embellishment sheet and put on some photo mats. I have, let's see what color I have. I grabbed a yellow and it looks like, oh, it looks like Summer Days, which is one we suggested anyway. Oh, never mind, I got that one. we go. And actually my summer days I got mixed in with greens, so it has a little green on there too. But I'm just gonna go with it. So you can chalk up the edges of any of these. You can also use the black. I think I put Midnight on there. We have a couple different blacks. There's like black opal. I think that one has a little more green tint to it. There's black. Gosh, I can't even remember what the names of them are, but any of the different blacks, they all have just a little bit different shades. Some of them look more charcoal color. So go ahead and put the yellow photo mat onto the white. This just goes right up here. The other photo mat for the other side goes the other direction. The three smaller ones are, let's see here. You should have two, I think these are 3.5, 2 black, 1 yellow, and then you have a white to go on top of each one of those. And again, chalk up those edges however you would like. I don't have a black one here, apparently. So I'm gonna stick with yellow. My yellow got really mixed up with green. So if you ever mix colors, you can see mine here. If you ever mix colors, make sure and use your light one first and then your dark one. I apparently did it the other way around on this one. Those go right in the middle there. Adhere these together. And if you are just putting the kit together without having your pictures on, just make sure you remember not to glue that to the back there because you won't be able to get your picture in there. Okay. And let's see, you have some days you just have to create your own sunshine, and each of these have a black backer to go on. Okay, once you have that black backer on, just place it onto the page. And you have some buttons, let's see, that go at the top of these little banners. I'm going to scoot this over as far as I can actually and make room for the banners. And then once you have your picture in there, you can glue those down there, and your buttons go right at the top there. And I have found that the double-sided, like the ATG gun, the tape is tacky enough for those buttons. I usually don't use liquid glue on buttons. It just takes longer to dry. And you have little branches. You have little branches that go underneath here. And these also can be chalked up. If you want to make them actually green like leaves, you can take a green. Let me see if I have a green here. I'm actually just going to lay this, let's see. A scrap piece of paper. This is my other little instruction sheet here, but I'm just going to use that as a scrap piece of paper. So if you do want to make these a different color and add a little extra color to it, you can lay it down on a piece of paper and just dab some green or teal. I'm just going to do some of the edges here. And then these get tucked right in. The Barely Art glue is great for this because these are such little kind of intricate die cuts. And you can add these wherever it works best for your picture. If you need one coming up the side here, you can move it to there. And your page 1 is done. So you can glue things together, get photos on there. We have a couple of tags that go on page 2. We have our little scallop frame. And our little quotes that go across the top. And I have these a little bit offset in the picture. This one's still a little bit bent because I didn't glue it down. So I have one going this way, one sticking out more this way, and then one going a little further in. And again, you have where does it go? Okay, here it is. You have your little branches, lay those across there, and then your little heart that goes in the middle, and your buttons. And super simple. Yeah, the hardest part is just getting the little pieces cut out. We don't always do so many words on a page. A couple months we will with cutting out tags and stuff like that, and then the next month they'll usually be all die cuts. We kind of mix it up a little bit to give a little different look each time. So I hope you enjoyed this kit. I hope you have the perfect pictures to put on it, and thank you for being a Club Q member, and we will see you next time.